All right, welcome to our Monday night team call. I'm super excited for our guest speaker tonight. I am not going to take much time because I cannot wait to dive in and hear Nicole, but I wanted to give you guys just kind of a little backstory because Nicole is one of my dear, amazing friends, leaders of legacy. She's a Star Diamond coach. Since Nicole started her, business, she has not missed a month of Success Club, and she's just, as you know, just such a genuine leader, so um, when we were at our leadership retreat last year, Nicole, it was the first time that we'd ever met in person, and it was just like she was just this light in the room. And Kelsey just said grab your tissues, guys, like you're gonna want your tissues for this call. But we all did this thing, and this is what we do at our leadership retreats, where we just kind of like share a piece of our story, kind of like where we came from, and just to get to know each other, right? So Nicole shared what she's about to share tonight, and I mean, like, instant, just like you just feel this connection to her, and just it just puts it in perspective, like the reality of life and how precious it truly is, and how you can take anything that you go through in life and make that messy piece and turn it into your message and learn from it, run with it, just really to become the person that you really want to become. So I'm excited for her to speak tonight, and I think that she like somehow left the call. I don't see her on here. So maybe she got disconnected. So anyways, I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys to hear from her and just learn how to be vulnerable. I guess it's just that piece. So while we wait for her to come back on, if you guys want to unmute, if there's anything that like you have questions about or anything, how your week is going, I can obviously answer that. But I'll also preface to and let you guys know about our call tomorrow night. So I am going to lead a getting to Emerald call, and I'm going to kind of tweak it and do it in a different way than I've ever done it before. I'm actually going to be the teacher person here, and I'm going to walk everyone through exactly how to become Emerald, literally in like tomorrow night. So I'm asking that you come. If you are Emerald, then you can go Emerald again. I want you to invite your coaches, your team, and basically anyone who is saying that they're a hobby coach through working for, a working coach. And I'm going to lay it out there why Emerald's important, what it takes, and why we're going to do it like in that instant. Okay. So expect to be on the call for about 45 minutes, maybe a little bit less. It'll be my first time actually doing it this way. So I'm just kind of like rehearsing a little bit and just kind of guesstimating that that's about how long it will take. So, Nicole, is that you on your iPhone? I'm not sure. Yeah, she just messaged me and said that her audio wasn't working. She probably had to do an update because that's what happens on Zoom. And when there's an update, it's always whenever you're supposed to be like speaking or whatever. I promise it happens all the time. So whenever she pops on, we'll go ahead and get started. So I'm curious, how many of you guys are at Emerald right now, like paid Emerald or above? Raise your hand. When I say paid, whenever you log into your back office, it says Emerald, like current coach Emerald. Okay, cool. Some of you guys I can see, some of you can't. So this will be really, really important. Yay, Melissa. Awesome. This will just be important to, to get on and to focus on and all that. And especially coming into, the end of August, because how many of you guys feel like August has been whoa? Like, whoa. August is whoa. I say that. Diana's like, yup. Listen, and here's how I break it down, guys. Most of us, I'm assuming, I know I am, women, moms, back to school, back to sports, money out the wazoo for sports equipment. I mean, we literally just went to Dick's and Academy and all those places tonight for soccer cleats and all that. Nicole, I see you're on. I'm going to finish this real quick and then I'll pass it over. You're good with the audio. Take your time. It's no big deal. But keep in mind, and that's why that we're all kind of in this season of, it's not that people aren't excited about this, it's just that they have other things going on right now. So my challenge for every one of us is to be in their newsfeed, to be in their follow-up inbox, is to, really get vulnerable and feel like and relate to them, right? That's where those missing links can sometimes get. I don't want anyone to be like desperate and coming across that way, but I do want you to take ownership and say, okay, how can I tweak my message? How can I invite a little bit more? How can I do this or that to achieve my goals and make this work? So asking yourself that. And I asked about the promo codes today in the team page, and I would really love for you to go in there and give me your feedback on that, because I actually was asked today to be on the National Wake Up Call this coming Monday. So I'm excited. This will be my second time on the National Wake Up Call. My last one was like 2015. So Sandy Buadani, she called, and yay, I'm super pumped. She called and she was like, hey, I would love for you to be on the National Wake Up Call this coming Monday. I'm like, okay. She's like, and I would love for you to talk about the promo codes and how you use them. I'm like, oh my gosh. And how you get your team to use them and all that. So I'm like, I need to ask my team, how are you guys using them? Like, I know we talk about them and everything on calls and, pumping up and all that, but that's why I'm going to be in your faces this whole week about promo codes. So that's what the National Wake Up Call is going to be on Monday. All right, so with that, I'm going to shut up now. I see Nicole is here, and I am pumped up for her. Nicole, I'm going to toss it over to you, and you're going to rock it, sister.
I don't know what. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah,
I don't know what happened to my computer. It did a update, and now none of the sound is working on anything. So bear with me, okay? I'm like looking at this itty bitty screen on my phone, and there we go. That helps a little. Of course. Okay, so I have notes. Crap, I have to, how am I going to do this? Hold on. I got to figure out how I'm going to log in, because I have slides that I need to share too. Hold on one sec. Just threw me for a loop. Sorry, y'all. Okay, I think that'll work. Gonna try to do something tricky here. Okay, so I'm like really nervous. I have been like geeking out about this all day. So I have notes, so forgive me if I am looking down at my notes, but I have to make sure that I stay on task. Something's echoing. I hear it. This one. I don't know if this is going to work. I might not be able to do my slides, guys. Can you hear an echo? Can anybody hear an echo? Are we good?
It's faint. You can try to start if you want to.
Okay.
I'll let you know if it echoes.
Okay. All right. If it messes things up, just let me know. I'll just shut off my computer or whatever.
I will. Okay? If it messes up, then you can just share your slides and like after the call. No big deal.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I've been like totally geeking out about this all day, guys. And I actually, when Val asked me to host the call, I picked like the last possible date available so that I had extra time. And then she asked me to share my story, and I really started freaking out. So I wrote all this down. I've been thinking all week about how I could like turn my testimony into something that would be useful for our business. And this is what I came up with was like, I'm always having a hard time figuring out how to be real and honest on my social media and share that with people. And I know like that was a huge struggle for me. And I know that that's a huge struggle for a lot of people. I was actually talking to some of my coaches on our team call on Saturday about this. So that's what I'm going to be talking about, is making your mess your message. And let me see if I can share my screen for y'all. I had to restart my computer. I had everything all together, I swear. Okay, so y'all can see that, right? Yes. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna start with sharing my story, and honestly, like, I still get sweaty palms every time I talk about this. I've changed my shirt like 3 times in the past couple of hours, so again, like, if I ramble, just bear with me, but I'm gonna start with my story and share that. So I grew up in a Christian home. In fact, my dad's a pastor now, but we were very involved in church while I was growing up, like there every Sunday, Wednesday, other nights during the week. I was in youth group, went on all the trips, did all the things, like pretty much we lived at church. And I went to a Christian school. I had everything that I possibly could want, like horses, cars, boilers, like every animal that you could possibly imagine, everything. Can you guys see my face on here, or is it just the screen? Because I could stop the share if you can't see my face. I'm sort of new to this stuff. You're good? Yes? Okay. All right. Okay. Face and screen. Awesome. Thank you, Diana. Okay. So, the girls in school were like really mean to me. And I feel like that affected me emotionally, like all through like my whole life. Like I carried that with me. Like, even in high school, like I didn't feel like I had my people. I didn't feel accepted. And now, like that I look back on it, I know that that was my own insecurity, and I wouldn't allow anybody in, because I was afraid that like I'd let somebody in and then they were going to just reject me. So like hindsight, you know, but basically I barely graduated high school. As soon as I got out, I started partying hard. Something about being drunk and high made me not care what like Susie with nice boobs and perfect hair thought about me. And for some reason that really mattered. And I really started to like the feeling of not feeling, if that makes any sense. So that's where my 10-year journey as a junkie began. I started doing pills when I was 19. I actually found a doctor that would prescribe them to me, and it was all downhill from there. I didn't care what it was, as long as it was going to get me high or make me more money so I could get more high and feel more numb. I started dealing any type of drug that I possibly could. I ended up in jail multiple times. I started shooting up, and that's when it got really bad. I started stripping because it was quick, fast cash, and they didn't care if I had track marks all over my arms. And after being in and out of jail and dealing drugs out of my parents' house, they kicked me out. And since I was a junkie, I didn't have enough money to go get a place. So me and my garbage bag slept on the street. I found out one time when I was in jail that I had hepatitis C. And that didn't really stop me either. I would get out of jail and pick right back up where I left off. I played around with prostitution, got in multiple car accidents, called myself a lesbian, shot up with people I knew were sick. I've been held at gunpoint while a man forced me to do things to him, robbed people, and I'm currently still a 6-time convicted felon. None of that mattered. Towards the end, I wound up in the hospital after shooting up in my leg and getting an infection and leaving it until my calf swelled up to like the size of a football. No joke, like the size of a football. And honestly, the only reason that I went to the hospital was because I couldn't walk. And if I couldn't walk, I couldn't dance. And if I couldn't dance, I couldn't make money to do drugs. So I went to the doctor. When I got to the doctor, they immediately took vitals and left the room. And when they came back, they told me that I had 30% of the blood in my body that I was supposed to, and my organs were shutting down. And if I didn't go to the hospital, they were going to Baker Act me. And I really didn't want that. Okay. They said that I wouldn't make it past 24 hours. So I was rushed to the hospital via ambulance. I remember the paramedics were freaking out because I needed a blood transfusion and they couldn't get an IV in me. And they actually had to put an IV in my neck. I have another picture of that too. I was in the ICU for 5 days, recovered for a week after that. I had to have major surgery on my leg, and I almost lost my leg, actually. When I woke up from everything, the doctors told me that I had a blood infection, and if I would have waited one more day, I would have died. And you know what? I was pissed that they saved my life. I wanted to die. My family was torn apart, and I didn't care. My poor mom, all she wanted to do was save me. Like, cried so hard about that today, because being a mom, like, I could not imagine going through that with my kid. Like, you can't even imagine the pain that you cause your parents until you're a parent. Like, it's crazy. Anyways, after all that and an ultimatum from my family, I decided to get some help. It had been 10 years and I didn't know how to live without being high. I went into a program, was there for 1.5 years, got my second chance, but that was just the beginning of my story here. When I got out of the program, yeah, I was sober, but I still didn't know who I was. And I was in a new place, knew no one, didn't have a job, had a very colorful record. So it was hard for me to get a good job. I had Hep C. I was told I would never be able to conceive from all the damage I'd done to my body. And if I did, I wouldn't carry full term. So I felt like I was like marked forever. And I still didn't know who I was. And that's what started this whole mess, you know. I truly believe that God does what he said he will do. And in Joel 2:25, he says he will restore to you the years that the locust hath eaten. But I never expected God to do in my life what he did. Fast forward 2 years, and I met my amazing husband online. Go figure, right? And he was 100% accepting, and he loved me for who I am, past and all. But I was still really insecure. I basically starved my body over that 10 years. And when I got healthy again, my body literally like held on to the fat. So I found myself 55 pounds overweight and even more insecure than I was before my addiction had even started. I was in such a vulnerable place. And I'm going to stop the share for just a second. Okay. That's when Val found me. I remember looking at her life, body, happiness, wishing I could have that too. I don't even think that you know what that invite did for me, Val. Like, I don't think you know how much that invite changed my life. And I'm going to try really hard not to cry, because I already cried like all the tears today. But you don't even know what kind of impact you had on me sending me that invite. I started my first challenge group and I lost like 11 pounds, something like that. But that was on the outside. On the inside, Val was making me feel accepted and loved, and she believed in me before I believed in me. She made me believe in myself again, and she taught me how to love myself. Anyways, I stuck with it, drinking Shakeology, eating clean, exercise, and because of my new healthy changes, I qualified to have the treatment that cured my hepatitis C. I was able to get pregnant and carry full term, which was like totally a miracle. And I believe that that was due to my healthy choices. I 110% believe that Beachbody and the effect that Beachbody had on my body did that for me. All because of Beachbody and Val's invitation. Today, I'm a full-time coach and a stay-at-home mommy, all because of Beachbody and Val's invitation. Val, I know I never shared this with you, but I was in a really vulnerable place when you found me. I had tried for months to lose the weight, and because of my insecurities, Chris and I were suffering. And I was looking for a way to numb again. I believe that because of your invite and your persistence and Beachbody's amazing community and the coaching opportunity, I'm 7 years sober. I know who I am. I love myself. I don't give a crap what Susie with big boobs and nice hair thinks about me anymore. So with that being said, I wanted to touch on a couple of things. I had some pictures to share. So it took me a long time to learn to be real with myself and learn who I am. Posting was like the hardest thing for me to grasp because I didn't feel like I had anything to post about. Like I didn't know who I was. I didn't, I remember I wrote this example down. I remember being on a call with Melanie and she told us to pick 5 things that make up who you are. And that's how you build your brand. And then she said, and one of those cannot be fitness. And I was like, well, crap, like what? I don't have anything to post about. Like I have nothing, I couldn't even like decipher my own thoughts, you guys. Like I was such a lost person before doing this. So I feel like we all try to be perfect to attract customers, right? But to be successful at this business, your goal is not to attract customers. Your goal is to attract your tribe. Your goal is to attract people like you. So the things that you don't want to share are exactly the things that you need to be sharing. I didn't want to share my past. I didn't want to share my thoughts. And when I did, that's when I started to find my voice and realized who I am. And that's when people started to connect with me. And that's when people started to trust me and say yes to this. So maybe you're like, I don't have a story, or I don't have anything like that to share. And I would totally call BS because like even I read a post that Jen Guthrie did a couple weeks ago about a pair of shoes that she wore in middle school and the girls made fun of her. And I guarantee you somebody connected with that. Like somebody looked at that and was like, I was made fun of too. Anything real and honest and raw that you can post about, you should share you. So I want to challenge you guys tonight to share something real about yourself one time a week. Even if it's something funny and silly, but share something real, and share something scary is the really important thing, because that's like how you grow as a person. So I wrote this example down, like, because I'm totally going to do a post about it. I was sitting with my friend yesterday and I picked the biggest booger out of my baby's nose, and then I wiped it on my shirt. And I'm totally going to share about that because I know other moms have done that too, but I never would have said anything like that before. Like I would not have done that last year for sure, because I'd be too worried about what people thought. So I also wanted to just like touch on this one thing, like for those of us that struggle with inviting, think about, like I was thinking about it today, like where I would be if Val wouldn't have sent me umpteen messages, if she wouldn't have reached out over and over and over and followed up and been consistent with posting. This opportunity, like what we have is a gift, and we should not be so selfish to not share it with other people. So I wrote on here, get over yourself, get over your fears, think of the bigger picture. And even though this business puts you on a platform, it's not about you. And that's like all that I have, you guys. I wrote it down. I made these slides on here. Everything kind of got messed up because my computer messed up and I'm like looking at a blank screen. So that's kind of weird. But I just wrote a couple of highlights, and then I also, if I could go backwards, I can't go backwards. Okay. I don't know how to work this thing. There we go. That's the picture that I wanted to share. That's my husband. Can you see that, guys? That's my husband and my baby and my dog. And I'm like totally living my dream life. And that is, I believe, 100% because of what Beachbody did and because of Al's invites. And that's all I've got. Anybody?
I'm here. Thank you so much. I mean, I just can't. This just like affirms everything, and I didn't expect my invite to be so impactful, but I love that you highlighted that because you never know where someone's at. So when I hear someone say, I'm afraid to invite, or I don't want to invite, or doing the tracker is hard, it actually makes me angry. Like, it makes me really, really mad whenever I hear coaches tell me that they aren't inviting, or because that's our job. And if you're here to help change lives, if you actually have yourself rooted in our mission, which is to literally help people after first helping yourself through this process, like, you should want to do this and pay it forward to people. So I don't understand when people are afraid in this. Like, and I mean, I get it in the beginning, right? I mean, we all get nervous to invite people. But I'm going to challenge every one of you guys to put yourself in the position of thinking, okay, I'm going to send out my 10 invites because what if someone needs this more than I do today? What if someone needs me to reach out to them and think of the lives that you could change? And trust me, I didn't just reach out to Nicole one time, right? I mean, she'd seen me, and I'm the follow-up queen, and that's what I'm teaching my team to be, right? And you'll hear that from me nonstop because maybe we're not in a position right in the moment whenever you receive that message to understand why you're getting that message. Or maybe it does get brushed off to the side. It did for me, but trust me, you guys know my story. I needed that invite too, more than anything. And I guarantee every single one of you on this call needed the invite or needed the post in your feed that made you reach out to your coach, or needed the consistency of someone who was showing up every day that made you feel strong enough to say, I want to do this too, right? I purposely planned this call tonight for Nicole's story because it's just so powerful. And I want you guys to understand that we're not just here to hide behind a Shakeology shaker cup and say, sweated on day 26 today. It's not who we are. Okay, that's part of what we do, but who we are matters. And I planned this because we are approaching the end of the month. And it is not acceptable for all of us to not be at Success Club. It is not acceptable. And Nicole is prime example that sure, August is the hardest month, but girl was like killing Success Club 30 plus right now because she's excited about her business, because she shares the hard stuff, because she's not, as someone wrote, you are Susie with the good hair and big boobs. Now, hell yeah, Nicole, you are the big boobs, good hair girl, right? Like, and you get to talk about this. But no matter where you came from, whether you had, maybe you don't have the most, rock bottom story, it doesn't matter. And what matters is that you're sharing your truth. It's sharing what you want people to, be able to relate to, not necessarily just what you want people to see. Does that make sense? You get to be the highlight reel or the real. And I think that there's a good mix of both. But if you're not being relatable to people, you're not going to build a business, because nobody wants to just see superficial fluff all the time. I know when I read a post, it makes me like, feel something. It's somebody who's talking about the real stuff. So anyways, this was such a great call, Nicole, and I know how nervous you were, and I think that you just did such an amazing job, and it does not help whenever tech issues get thrown into something that you prepare for all day. Trust me, I have been there, done that. You showed up, you didn't, and I'm so grateful for you on every level. But anybody have any?
I'm gonna get all gospel and blame it on the devil because he didn't want me to share that, and that's how
Exactly.
my computer updated on its own.
So I know, I agree. See, nothing's gonna stand in your way, and that's what it comes down to with your health, fitness, business, life, mom, wife. Anything in life is gonna come down to you have the choice. We all have the choice. What are you going to choose today? Are you going to choose to show up? I'm going to choose to finish my tracker before I go and tuck my babies in. I'm going to choose that. I'm going to choose to do my follow-ups. I'm going to choose to send out another promo code because we have that tool in our back pocket. I'm going to choose these things, even though I would, a lot of times would much rather go to get the extra sleep, or would much rather not do these things, but I'm going to always remember why I'm doing these things, and I get excited about it. So I hope that all of you guys remember this. And know, and I ask this question all the time, when you're focusing on your goals, it's not a number. Your goals are real. You're helping people, right? So yeah, you might be aiming for Success Club 5 or Success Club 10, but the real picture of this is people like Nicole, people like Diana, people like Kelsey, Haley, everyone on this call, you're real people. And you were at one point a Success Club point, right? But you're so much more than that. So think about that as you are talking to your people and you're messaging and you're on the phone or you're doing meetups or whatever it is that you want to do. It's about the goal and the people who matter. So it's 3 people, 6 people, 10 people, 20 people, endless people who you want to touch the lives of. Okay? Sound good? All right. So we will be back here next Monday. I am challenging you all to crush that bingo sheet that's floating around on the team pages, to tag us all in your Instagram stories. We're all doing dance parties this week, y'all. Okay, so better be tagging all of our team. Share some vulnerable posts on your stories, on your Facebook. Talk about it. Tag each other. This is a team. We are united, and this is what we do. We share and we support one another, okay? And we are going to end this month stronger than we started. So have a great night, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks again, Nicole. Love you, girl.
Love you too.